I am Caitlin and I am with Gaiety and Pride on Instagram. Hi, Victoria. It's so great to meet
Hi.
you. How
Hi,
are you doing
Caitlin.
today?
I'm good. I'm overwhelmed in like a really good way. It's starting to feel real. For months, I was the person on set that was like, "This isn't happening. Maybe it's not going to happen." And now I'm like, "Oh, it's happening."
Yeah. I mean, I watched it. I know that it is real. It's amazing to see. And so this all started with a short story that you wrote. So can you walk me through what inspired you to tell this story?
Of course. I grew up on genre. I write in genre. I loved Buffy and Supernatural, all of these shows which were so formative to me. But I often say that if I had seen characters like me on screen a little sooner, I would have come out a lot faster. And so I think it's one of those things where I just wanted to write the campy, fun, story genre bent story that I didn't see when I was a teenager, especially because I think so often when we have queer characters, the story has to be about queer identity. And I'm like, but queer kids deserve genre stories too. They deserve to have adventures.
Absolutely. And I was going to tie that into, later questions because Netflix is introducing these shows like Sex Education and Heartstopper, but this one adds, it adds that vampire dimension into it. So what does that exactly mean for, youth that's growing up and watching this kind of show versus those ones?
Of course. I think coming of age stories and coming of identity stories are so important, right? But so are queer existence narratives. And I think making sure that we allow like queer narratives to take space in genre as well, it means that we get to change the hierarchies, right? There are always hierarchies, there's always power dynamics, there's always taboos. But in our show, the taboo is not that it's two girls. The taboo is that one is a vampire and one is a monster hunter, right? And we get to deflect that. And by doing that, we get to normalize and allow that these kids to take up space in their own right and be fully realized people.
So I love that so much. I love everything that the show is giving. And when Netflix came to you and said like we're going to make this, so what were the feelings that you were feeling in that moment?
Oh, total disbelief. Like I'm a popcorn optimist. The moment I can sit down and watch something with a bucket of popcorn, it's real. And until that point, it's not. So it's really just been it's been a dream. I work in novels, I work in the written form, and I remember the first time I was on set and I saw an actor embodying somebody I had made up and giving them life and giving them dimension. And it's really just been a complete thrill from that moment on.
So when you were diving into this supernatural universe, I mean, what kind of research did you do going into that? How much of it did you pull or just come up with on your own?
For the purposes of the short story, which kind of becomes the first episode, not a huge amount except for what I knew I wanted to have for the legacy vampires. It was really once we got into the writing room with Felicia and the other writers that we really built out the world and the mythology around both the guild and the vampires.
Amazing. And so then going in and meeting the cast, I mean, you wrote about these characters, but now you're kind of seeing them to life. So can you talk to me about meeting them and just your experiences on set?
Yeah, I was a complete dork. Like the entire time, I basically was just a hard eyes emoji. It was so surreal and so wonderful and such an incredible privilege. And these kids have worked so hard. And to be honest, as excited as I am for everyone to discover the story on June 10th, I'm more excited for the world to discover these actors because I think that they're going to just be the ships of the internet. I think that they're going to take up space and I'm so proud of them.
And Cal and Jules are just amazing, and they just bring so much life to these characters. I mean, the actresses who bring these characters on the screen. So, what is your favorite part about their love story? What are you excited for people to see about them?
Sarah Catherine and Amani, who play Julia and Calliope, are such strong talents in their own right, but there's just something about when you put them on screen together and they have their chemistry. There's an incredible nuance to it, and I loved every moment I got to see them on camera. Obviously, the pantry scene in the first episode is taken really, really holistically from the short story, and so I was excited to see that be filmed. But I would say that there are moments with the two girls in every single episode that I just get shivers. I get shivers because I just think how lucky I am to be a part of creating this and how happy I would have been if 16-year-old me had had this.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you, and congratulations on the show.
Thank you, Caitlin.